Welcome to P-Code on the Move, people. We got some things to talk about. Let's get straight into it. I want to jump straight into this DC crime issue. Have you guys heard? There's been no unalivings in the last 11 days in Washington, D.C. I wonder why. Well, apparently, Mr. Donald Trump, my boy Donald TZ, he put out the National Guard and everybody else, all hands on deck to solve the epidemic of people who were being attacked in the crime-riddled areas in DC. Now, in my eyes, as a person who lives in Maryland and traveled to DC frequently, used to work down there, in my eyes, I see it as, if the crime is staying in one section of DC, maybe it's not such a bad thing. It used to only stay in an area called Southeast and then play on the border of Southeast in that PG County borderline. Yeah, that's what it used to be. Well, in today's time, or really not today's time, yesterday's time, we're going to say before 11 days ago, it was spread to all of Northwest. I personally saw somebody get pulled out of their car while I was driving home one day on, I think it was 3rd or 4th Street, one of those streets in Northeast, right there on the borderline. I watched a man get pulled out of his car. He got robbed by a dude who was on a scooter, pulled up next to him on a scooter, threw him out of the car, took off with his vehicle. And everybody just looked. Nobody helped him. Now, granted, I was in the car behind him, so I wasn't jumping out. The most I could do is possibly run somebody over, but I wasn't into, doing harm to anybody at that time of day. I was just trying to make it home. There was one time where I was in DC and I was working at a place, and one of the construction workers went to the gas station to get gas. Well, he came back without his car and a big gash in his forehead. That's right. They smacked him over the head with a wrench and took his vehicle too. So what did that tell me? Maybe I shouldn't get gas in DC. Right? That's what the logical person would learn from that, right? Well, nowadays, since the National Guard is just walking outside, chilling with the police officers, and they walking up on people, making sure you ain't, chiefing, walking around, drinking outside with an open container, just making sure that there are no trouble spaces. Even to this homeless man. Matter of fact, listen to what he got to say about DC and these National Guard people.
Most crime. I'm right here at Union Station, and every single night I'll slip right up there at that statue, and they're okay with it as long as I get up and I get out of everybody's way so they can take their pictures, during the daytime. But at night, they let me sleep up there, no worries. And honestly, I can't be more thankful for them being here. I know most everybody else disagrees, but that's my personal opinion. And if they do tell you to go, just go. Wait about 30 minutes for them to leave, then go back to your spot, man. You know what I mean? Ain't no reason to pick a fight with them because, it's a lose-lose situation.
Are you a fan of Donald Trump?
No. I'm not a fan of politics in general.
Now, let's think about how we got here. This is how we got here. In the 1980s, I believe DC was the murder capital. Then, if you fast forward to today's time, gentrification happened. But in between that time, there was not people in the community taking care of the community as a collective. No one, in my eyes, stood for good or God because they allowed murderers and people committing crimes to walk freely around and get away with crimes because they were afraid of snitching or telling the truth. Snitching is only when you're participating in the act with the person to assist them, and then you go and tell once you get caught. That's called snitching. If you are a bystander and things are going on, you should actually tell. You should tell. If it is a crime that is dangerous and somebody's getting hurt or extorted, you should tell ASAP. I 100% approve that message. Yes, I do. Well, the street code is dead. All these copycat people, the street code is dead, bro. Everybody has been telling on everybody in 2025, 2024, as of recently, as y'all see with the whole YSL trial and Gunna.
Do you acknowledge the following for acknowledgement.
Yes.
And thinking that he's still gonna be able to be this big street guy who makes music. Yeah, no, that's dead. That's dead. White America, man, they figured out that they can make profits off of DC as a tourist area. When I say white America, I mean America in a whole. You know what I mean? This was a country that was built by those forefathers where none of them look like me. None of them look like me. But they just happened to come over here and take land from people who did look like me. So we have been officially included. Now, I used to be banging the drum hard, no diddy, banging the drum hard on we shouldn't, you know what I mean, help them or become part of America. We should have our own, whatever, whatever. Well, guess what? The country's here. The country's here. You know what I mean? We're here in the country. We are beyond, like how Jay-Z said, we're beyond kneeling. We are beyond complaining about slavery. We are beyond the whole reparations conversation. It's clear that the country isn't going to give us the reparations. It's clear that the people who can give us the reparations are not the people responsible for what we went through as a culture. It was their ancestors, which then, granted, maybe we should get something. But then that's why there's a class system too. There's a class system too. It's not even about race anymore. It's about, do you have the money to be in this class? Now, when you get to the top of the class system, it becomes about race. That's how you get with the Kanye West situation or the Ye situation. With the yeah, you know that song. How you get there, you feel me? But regardless of the case, crime was not doing well in DC. I was afraid to go to work. I had another incident where I was at work and my supervisor caught the meanest 4-piece with the same hand. One of the patrons decided to put hands on her. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but I will not be discussing why. She just got the hands put on her for no reason in my eyes. And when we told the police, they just allowed them to do anything. They said it was okay. They said the situation, the lady said that she wasn't there and she said that she was pregnant, so she didn't do it. Even though we had her on camera, we had her social, we had her name, her ID, all that. But they said she wasn't there. So, today, Mr. Donald Trump, right? He just set some things in motion, especially when it comes to this new executive order he just signed. He just signed a new executive order where cashless bail is done. You can't just be killing people, 4 people, 3 people, shooting up the block, putting hands on people, hurting people, and then just getting out. Apparently, there was a ruling in 1989 that said that it was, or there was a ruling way back when that said that the cash bail system was needed because it was a civil rights issue. They felt that there was some type of racism involved where people were accused of certain crimes and maybe they didn't do it or they did do it, but they were accused of certain crimes and they were not being let out. And they felt that was a civil rights issue, which to each its own, but when you are living in a city or working in a city like Washington, D.C., and every time somebody commits a crime, whether it's a carjacking, whether it's an assault on a person, whether even sometimes if it's shooting a person in D.C., they're not going to jail. The cops didn't want to do the follow-up work to actually send them to jail. So guess who's to blame for this? This is the blame of the D.C. people. The people who live in D.C. right now are the exact blame for this because they didn't get their city in order. You try some stuff like that in Maryland, Montgomery County, PG County will have you jammed up, bro. They'll have you jammed up. You'll be in 7 lock so quick, it'll be crazy. It'll be crazy. Also, another thing that happened, y'all remember when they was in D.C. and then somebody decided that they was going to burn the United States of America flag? That should be banned. That should have been banned a long time ago. That was the 1989 court ruling that I was mentioning earlier. You know, man, got my words mixed up. That was the one I was mentioning earlier, where they said that was it was protected under the First Amendment right. That's what a judge said. Well, Trump said no. We're not going to be sitting here burning our flag, recording it, sending it around the country or around the world so other people see that that's okay. There has to be consequences for this. There has to be. There has to be. Speaking of consequences, y'all heard about Homeboy? Y'all remember? Matter of fact, let me pull up the video I did from him before. You know, shout out to that one Maryland man who got, grabbed up in a situation. He in El Salvador right now. I understand. I understand that you grieving and whatever your family. But guess what? Why ain't you speak up when they was arresting you? Why ain't you show them your papers? You could have said several things that would have showed that you were an American citizen. You could have said several things that could have showed that you were an American citizen. You could have said several things that would have showed that you're an American citizen, but you chose not to. Well, look, y'all talked all that stuff and y'all got him back to America just to be deported to Uganda where he has no ties to. Now, let's not get it twisted. This person, again, he was in the MS-13s, they saying. You know what I mean? They saying that he was smuggling people, they saying. You know what I mean? That's trafficking. He was human trafficking. You know, the thing that y'all keep complaining about, Epstein and this list and that, this, that, and the third, he was trafficking. And you guys are okay with this. He gave a press conference today. Didn't speak no English in the press conference. But yeah, he want to come back to America.
Es Kilmar Garcia y siempre quiero que recuerden que hoy puedo decir con orgullo que estoy libre y me reuní con mi familia. Estuve detenido, siempre recordé momentos hermosos con mi familia, momentos de ir al parque, de ir al trampolín con mis hijos. Esos momentos me darán fuerzas y esperanza para seguir luchando.
He gave a press conference, spoke no English in the press conference, but yet want to come back to America. But the country that he was originally sent to was his native country. You know, before he got married, the country where he was born, we sent them there. They talking, they wanted to move him back to America. All right, cool, we brought him to America. Now he's going to Uganda. Lucky's not alligator Alcatraz. Could be dangerous out there, bro. Could be dangerous. And I've been thinking a lot about alligator Alcatraz too. Because you know what? This is conspiracy P talking. I believe that at alligator Alcatraz, they gonna be putting like some Neuralink on people so they can make them be a better person or something like that. And then that's gonna start the revolution of the machines taking over. Because that's going to start the whole cyborg thing. You just hold that to your head and all of a sudden you become this. Then when you take it down from your head, then you become back normal. But then they can hotwire you with the foods that they feed you, such as the poker pills when they got that into the arm and stuff to people. Y'all remember when we was shut down? I was telling y'all not to do that. And a lot of y'all still did that. I ain't saying that y'all sold us out, but y'all know what y'all did. Everybody had their reasons, but y'all know what y'all did. But yeah, man, shout out to my man Donald Teasy. He hooked the joint up. Everybody hating. Like 50 said, if they hate, then let them hate and watch the money pile up. But this was all started again because y'all ain't take care of y'all city. Like, let's talk about Rad Paul's DC staffer. You know what I mean? The staffer who got stabbed. Y'all remember that? March 2023? He was picking up a burrito bowl, son. He was picking up a burrito bowl in DC. This is what I was talking about. I was in DC in 2023. This is the one that happened 3 blocks away from where I was standing. March 2023. He gets a burrito bowl. All of a sudden he walks out. People come from the shadows. He gets stabbed. Poked up. Stabbity stab 4 times. Bang, 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 bang. Punctured the lung and all that. I'm not sure if he survived or not. I hope he did. But then again, when you get to the new dude, the dude who used to work for Doge, the Edward Korstein, y'all remember him? Yeah. Mans was standing next to his car, next to a young lady, pretty lady. You know what I mean? They stand next to their car and whatever. A crowd just comes around him, and then all of a sudden, no Diddy on that crowd comes around him. The crowd just comes around him, no Diddy. And then all of a sudden they should start, you know what I mean, trying to take her purse. And then he started getting beat up because he tried to stop her from taking the purse and all that. Y'all see the picture. I'm gonna let y'all know something. For all y'all people who are new to this country and stuff like this, America does not like this look. This is, I think, a blonde-haired white guy who's on the ground with blood on him. America don't like to look like this. When y'all do stuff like this, what is the next thing to happen? Now the National Guard gotta come out. And then people are like all up in arms, this, that, and the third. But guess what? You know who's not up in arms? The people who live in DC. If you go and ask the average person who live in DC, they not for all that other stuff. The people who you see standing out on the side of the road are the people who are gonna end up getting robbed. Again, the people that you see on the side of the road that's over here helping, cheering, this, that, and the third, rooting them on, are the people who are gonna end up getting robbed if things continue to go the way that they're going.
Looks like right here they're arresting a homeless man. What's going on right here?
This man is being arrested.
For what did he do?
We're hearing that he was distributing narcotics.
Okay, so they're getting a drug deal off the street.
I don't want to characterize them. I don't know.
All right, they're arresting this guy right here. They say that guy just said he was arrested for narcotics, so he's either a homeless man or a drug dealer here on the street. There you have in the bag whatever he was selling. They put it in the bag, so he was indeed selling drugs. Right now we have the FBI, the police, Secret Service. We got about 8 agents out here right now, and there is the bag right there with all the money and the drugs that he was selling on the streets.
After he had been arrested, a protester showed up and went absolutely crazy on law enforcement.
Cowards! 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 Stay away from homeless people! You fascist punks! Get the fuck out! Out! Nobody
This lady just arrived and she is screaming in the megaphone. I wonder if she knows that they just arrested a drug dealer off the streets of Washington, D.C. Wow, you got a loud voice.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Wow, she just came right in here. This lady is an angry woman.
Stay away from homeless people! You fascist punk! Get out! Get the fuck out, bitches! Get out! Get out! Fuck you, motherfuckers! Get the fuck out! Out! Out!
Do you realize that they did arrest a drug dealer?
Oh my God.
If you don't believe me, look at the subway man.
The fucker! Oh! 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 It's fucking gun! It's fucking gun!
Mr. Subway Sandwich himself. He gonna throw the Subway sandwich at the police and not expect to get a felony. He gonna do 10 years, bro. He gonna do 10 years, or he gonna do something. 85%. That's the feds. I don't know what he could plead out to, but that's crazy. You threw a sandwich at the police? At the feds? Is you insane? Is you cool? I guess not. You know who else is not cool? That man, what's his name? Harjinder Singh. This man is crazy. This man is crazy. He go and get a CDL license in California after arriving here illegally, May 2023, where he was released into the United States because of Moneybag Joseph Biden administration. You know Kamala, you know the borders are? Yeah. They let him in. And guess what? There are 3 people right now who are no longer with us because he decided to make an illegal U-turn on the highway in an 18-wheeler. I can't make this up, guys. I can't make this up. Now, his brother's sitting passenger. I ain't even gonna say nothing about him because in my eyes, he ain't had nothing to do with the situation. He snuck into the country illegally, cool. But he ain't try to kill nobody. But now he gotta go back because he got caught on the situation you got caught on. But I want y'all to notice something. Look how the Indian people are standing on message. Play the clip.
I'm in support of Harjinder Singh. I know it was an accident. He made a terrible mistake, not a deliberate choice to harm anyone. He was working hard to support his family, like so many of us, and one wrong decision changed everything. A 45-year prison sentence is not justice.
It's Naprit. I support Harjinder Singh. It was an accident. He made a terrible mistake.
It was an accident. He made a terrible mistake.
It was an accident. He made a terrible mistake, not a deliberate choice to harm anyone.
It was an accident. He made a terrible mistake, not a deliberate choice to harm anyone. He was working hard to support his family, like so many of us.
It was an accident. He was working hard to support his family.
Notice how they all stand on message. They all reading from the same script. But guess what? None of them are throwing them under the bus. Let it been one of us, and we be throwing each other under the bus like crazy. Dropping leg drops, people's elbows, shooting star press, swanton bombs, all that. We'll be doing all that through the table, through the table, through the table. That's right. That's right. That's what we'll do to each other. That's what we'll do to each other. That's what we'll do to each other. But as you can see, his people, they stood up for him. They defended him. Looked at him in his Gucci. In his Gucci. And everybody found that okay. But yeah, looked like he facing 40 years. And his brother was picked up by ICE. So, yeah. Shout out to Kamala and Joseph Biden for that one. Whatever. Let's go to the next part. The next subject. Let's talk about the New York parking fight. Y'all ain't hear about this? I'm just hearing about this, and I think it happened in July. There were 3 people, a mom, a man, and a trans man, who decided they were going to jump a black woman over a parking spot. Let me set the scene. Parking is crazy in New York. These people have decided that they were going to put trash cans and dirt and trash and stuff in a parking spot to hold it for themselves. Broad daylight. All right, cool. I can see how people could say that. It was in front of their building, this, that, and the third. But guess what? They don't own the block. Now, the woman pulls up and she's like, oh, I see that spot there. I want to take that spot. Let me get out and move the stuff. She get out and try to move the stuff. They come outside, provoking the situation. They called her a monkey. Mind you, this is a black woman. Now, flashback. When I was a kid, I called somebody in my high school a monkey, and the class let me know how ignorant and how mean that was. And mind you, I'm a black person myself, so I was read my rights pretty much in class, and for the whole next 2 weeks, I had to be very apologetic. Well, guess what? She did this as a Caucasian-looking woman. Later, we found out this is an immigrant, possibly illegal immigrant. But she came here as a Caucasian-looking woman, calling a black girl, woman, a college student, young person, a monkey, and thought that, things was going to be all right. So the black girl started calling her illegal immigrant, this, that, and the third. Words are hurled back and forth, and then all of a sudden, the trans man, or whatever that was, the trans person, decides that since she wants to dress up and pretend to be a woman, she's gonna put hands on this other person who is a actual woman and a foundational black American, I believe. So they proceed to jump her, put hands on her. And then a third dude comes in from out of nowhere and he starts hitting her in the body and stuff like this. Now this went on probably for like 30 seconds. And the whole time nobody really stepped in. There was one white dude who stepped in and grabbed the one guy and told him he need to chill, he's going to jail, this, that, and the third. They eventually let him go and then he ran off. But my whole thing is the black girl didn't even really fall. Like she fell on the ground, but she held her own, bro. She held her own. That's a 3v1. She's supposed to get stomped out in any situation like that when nobody jumped in. Regardless of the case, she held on long enough to call the police. The police eventually showed up. Y'all heard? Yeah, listen to what she said.
Yo, bitch. Hello? I came up here trying to park. He blocked the parking off with 3 trash cans. This guy right here that threatened me with a pipe. Yeah. She just put hands on me. Her trans my daughter put hands on me. Yes, you did. Bro, she just put hands on me. Her transvestite daughter just put hands on me. They just jumped right here. Yes. Right here. They just put it right here. My brace is on the ground right there. I swear to God, you old bitch. And I'm gonna put it. Yes, you did, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm not. What the fuck? Bro, I don't get a real nigga to beat him up. I'll get a real nigga to beat him.
Now, after all that, We saw what happened. They locked up the mom. Y'all heard what the girl said. She was talking so clear and she still had her breath and all that. Well, guess what? Remember the third dude? He didn't get arrested. The trans, that person did get arrested. The mom got arrested. The third dude, he got away. He got away. But the streets caught up to him. Take a look at this. Now, me personally, I do not condone any of this type of violence. I do not condone violence. But why did y'all think that the community wasn't going to do something if you did something to somebody who didn't deserve it? Now, then I thought about it. How come nobody jumped in? And I figured it out. Because there was a trans woman involved. And anything you know about trans people, they got rights. If somebody would have jumped in, they would have said, oh, it's a hate crime. Oh, that. But now that it happened to the black girl, it's not being considered a hate crime. This was an American who got jumped by somebody who was an immigrant. And this immigrant should be in jail because they put hands on this American in that type of way. That is a domestic violence situation where a woman was getting drugged on the ground on camera and jumped by two other people and nobody did anything. Except for one guy who held the one dude back. But nobody else did anything. Her hair got ripped out and all types of stuff. But we just supposed to be okay with that, right? We just supposed to be okay with that. But that's all I got to say on the subject. That's all I got to say on the subject. We will need to seriously have like a group. What is it called? Foundational Black American meeting. Because seriously, Amanda Seale's the only one really holding it down like that, even though I don't even mess with her like that. I don't even mess with her like that based off other things that she's done. But like, she the only person holding it down, and stuff just keeps happening. Stuff just keeps happening. But yeah, man, that's my show. Shout out to that. Pico on the move, and we out. There was once a garden where children played. Among them was a boy who looked like the others. Same soil, same sun, same rain. Yet, instead of nurturing, he trampled, he mocked the flowers that grew beside him, crushing the petals that shared his color. For a time, the garden grew quiet. The flowers bent low, afraid to lift their heads. But then, a new wind blew. Seeds from afar drifted in, carrying colors the garden had never seen. These flowers stood tall, unafraid. Together, they created shade, shelter, strength. They taught the others to rise, bloom boldly. The boy who once bullied saw his shadow fade. The power wilted in the light of unity. The garden became whole again, more vibrant than before. Hey friends, are you forgetting the most important thing? Who you represent? Who are you there to support? Who is in your corner? Are you there for the God or are you there for the devil? Because if you're there for God, make sure you download Bible Gateway. This is somewhere where you can get the Bible on the move, where you can either read it yourself or highlight passages, or you can do my favorite thing, which is listen to the audiobook of the Bible. Catch any verse any time of the day at Bible Gateway. Download the app.